Hello, everyone. You're about to listen to a full session of powerful stories. Stories that will help you grow, think deeper, and improve your English without stress. These stories are designed to work in the background. They will keep you inspired, help you practice real English naturally, and remind you that you're already becoming a better version of yourself. A whole hour where you can simply listen while you walk, cook, clean, travel, or just relax. No pressure, no rules. Just you, your thoughts, and the small steps that slowly turn into big changes. Let the stories guide you. And remember, every minute you spend listening is an investment in your future self. Let's begin.
You know what's crazy? Some people walk into a room and everyone respects them. They don't even say anything. No talking, no shouting, nothing. And everyone just looks at them differently. Want to know their secret? It's not what you think. I used to be invisible, like literally. People would walk past me like I wasn't even there. At school, at work, everywhere. It felt terrible. But then something weird happened. I changed 5 tiny things. Just 5. And suddenly, people started treating me completely different. They listened when I talked, they asked for my opinion, they actually respected me. The wild part? I barely said anything. Today, I'm going to show you these 5 secrets, from the weakest one to the most powerful one. And here's the best part. You can start using them right now, like today. No special skills needed, no fancy tricks, just simple stuff that actually works. But before we start, let me quickly tell you something important. Respect isn't about being loud. It's not about being mean. It's not about showing off. Real respect is like quiet magic. People feel it without knowing why. And once you learn how to create that magic, your whole life changes. Also, welcome to Catch That English. If you want to improve your English through stories, real-life lessons, and powerful ideas like this one, make sure you subscribe and like this video. It helps more than you can imagine, and it helps you stay focused, motivated, and growing every single day. All right, let's begin.
Respect is such a strange thing, isn't it? Everyone wants it, but nobody teaches you how to get it. Schools don't teach it, parents don't explain it. Movies usually show the wrong version of it. So most people walk around feeling small, confused, or invisible, the way I used to feel. But after 3 years of testing these methods on myself, my friends, coworkers, and even strangers, I finally understood something huge. Respect doesn't start with other people. Respect starts with you. You control how others see you. You control the energy you bring into a room. You control your voice, your silence, your presence. And these 5 methods, they're not random tricks. They're real psychological tools humans respond to, no matter their age, culture, or personality. Let's get into the first one.
1. Stand like a winner. Before I learned this, I stood like a sad houseplant. Shoulders down, neck forward, arms close to my body, moving as if I wanted to disappear. And guess what? People treated me exactly that way, like someone who didn't want to be noticed. But then I started studying how confident people stand. Not loud people, not arrogant people, but people everyone naturally respects. I noticed something interesting. They take up space. Not too much, just enough. They stand tall. Their shoulders are relaxed but open. Their chin is slightly up, but not in a "I'm better than you" way. More like I'm here, and I'm not hiding. I started practicing this everywhere. At the bus stop, in line at the store, at work, at home, even while brushing my teeth. And it changed something deep inside me. Because your body and your mind are connected. When your body is small, your confidence feels small. When your body expands, even a little, your confidence rises. People reacted instantly. They started noticing me. They made eye contact. They spoke to me differently. But the biggest change? I started believing in myself. Try this right now. Sit up tall, shoulders relaxed, but back, neck long, chest open. Take one deep breath. Feel that shift? That's the beginning of your new presence. 2. The power of slow. This one seemed ridiculous at first. Slow? Like be slow? Yes, exactly. Respect and speed rarely go together. When you rush, you look stressed. When you rush, you look desperate. When you rush, your brain screams, "I'm not in control." But confident people, they move slowly. They talk slowly. They even react slowly. Not because they're lazy, because they're grounded. Here's what I learned. People trust slow. People respect slow. People follow slow. It sends a powerful message. I am not controlled by the situation. I control the situation. I remember this moment so clearly. I walked into a meeting one day, late, stressed, heart running like crazy. I threw my backpack down, grabbed my laptop, and immediately started explaining why I was late. Nobody respected that. Nobody even listened. The next week, I tried something different. I walked in slowly, calmly, quietly. I put my things down carefully. I sat. I waited. Then I spoke calmly. Everyone looked at me. Everyone listened. Everyone took me seriously. Same meeting, same people, just different speed. Slow equals strong. Fast equals anxious. Start practicing this today. Walk 5% slower. Speak 10% slower. Breathe 20% deeper. People will feel the difference. 3. The eye contact trick. Most people fear eye contact. They think it's uncomfortable, too intense, too personal. But here's the truth. Eye contact is one of the strongest signals of confidence and respect. Before I learned this, I was the king of looking at the floor. Seriously, I could probably tell you how every tile in my school looked. But one day, someone told me this simple trick. 3 seconds. Look for 3 seconds, away for 1, then back. That's it. Not creepy, not awkward, just confident. I tried it with my boss. I tried it with friends, with cashiers, with strangers. Every single time, people responded differently. They respected me more. They listened more. They valued my words. Eye contact is like saying, I'm here and I'm not afraid to be seen. Most people can't do that, but you're not most people. You're training. Try it the next time someone talks to you. Just 3 seconds. Then look away. Then look back. Your conversations will transform. 4. Listen more than you talk. This is one of the most powerful skills in human communication, and almost nobody does it right. We live in a world where everyone wants to talk. Everyone wants to be heard. Everyone wants to share. But the truth is, almost nobody listens. And here's the magic. The person who listens becomes the most respected person in the room. Why? Because listening is rare. Listening is emotional intelligence. Listening means power. When you listen well, people feel safe with you. They open up. They trust you. They respect you without even knowing why. I started practicing this everywhere. Instead of thinking about my next answer, I actually paid attention to the way they moved, to the tone they used, to the emotions behind their words. And suddenly, conversations became deeper. People started telling me personal things. People valued my presence. People treated me differently. And the best part? I didn't have to impress anyone. I didn't have to give perfect answers. I just had to listen. Most respected people are not the ones with the best words. They're the ones who create the best space. 5. The silence weapon. This one deserves a full chapter on its own, so I'll expand it much more in part 2. But let me open the door to it right now. Silence is misunderstood. People think silence means weakness, but in reality, silence is the strongest move in the social world. Silence creates respect. Silence creates mystery. Silence creates power. When everyone else is loud, the quiet person becomes the person everyone pays attention to. When chaos happens and you don't react immediately, people lean in. They want to know what you're thinking. They want to hear your opinion. Silence shows control. Silence shows maturity. Silence shows strength. And the best part? Anyone can learn it. And once you understand these first 5 methods, something interesting begins to happen in your life. Not immediately, not magically, not like in the movies where a character wakes up and suddenly everyone treats them differently. No, the real shift is quieter. It's something you feel before other people see it. It starts inside your mind, and only then it begins to show in the way you move, the way you speak, the way you react, the way you exist in a room. Respect is an energy. People notice it even if they don't have the words to describe what changed. And the truth is, most people live their whole lives without ever creating this kind of energy. They walk through the world hoping someone will notice them, hoping someone will appreciate them, hoping someone will finally give them the respect they've been craving. But they never think about the deeper part. Respect comes from the signals you give even when you're silent, especially when you're silent.
Let's go deeper into that last method, the silence weapon, because it's more complex and more powerful than most people realize. Silence isn't just not talking. It's communication. It's presence. It's emotional discipline. It's the ability to stay grounded when everyone else loses control. And people admire that on a primitive level. They trust the person who can stay calm. They listen to the person who doesn't panic. They follow the person who doesn't need to shout to prove a point. Think about animals for a second. In nature, the most powerful animal is also the quietest. Lions don't roar all day. Wolves don't spend hours barking. The strongest creatures conserve their energy. They move slowly. They observe. They wait. And in that waiting, they show power. Humans are not very different. When someone is loud, dramatic, complaining, always giving opinions, we think they're insecure. But when someone has the strength to stay calm, to think before speaking, to choose their words instead of dumping them, we feel respect. We feel trust. We feel something stable about them. But the silence weapon isn't only for big moments like arguments or conflicts. It works in everyday life too. It works when someone asks you a question. Most people feel pressure to answer instantly. They fear the pause. They fear silence. They think it makes them look unsure. But here's the secret. A short pause makes you look thoughtful, confident, and grounded. Try this experiment. Next time someone asks you something, at work, at school, in a conversation, don't answer right away. Pause for 2 seconds, just 2. Breathe, think, then speak. Watch what happens. You'll notice that people listen more carefully. Your words suddenly feel heavier, more meaningful, more intentional. And the funny part? You haven't changed your vocabulary. You haven't changed your ideas. You've only changed your timing. But that alone makes you look more respectable.
Silence is powerful because it creates contrast. Everyone else is fast. Everyone else is chaotic. Everyone else is reactive. When you are calm, you are different. Different attracts attention. Attention creates respect. But silence also teaches you something even more important: emotional control. And emotional control is one of the biggest markers of a respected person. People trust someone who doesn't explode under pressure, someone who can hear criticism without immediately defending themselves, someone who can watch drama without jumping in, someone who can stay centered even when the world gets loud. Think about the people you admire the most. Not celebrities, not influencers, real people in your own life. Maybe a teacher, a friend, a mentor, a relative. What do they all have in common? Emotional stability. They don't lose themselves when something goes wrong. They don't panic. They don't turn small problems into big ones. And even if they're stressed inside, they know how to hold themselves together on the outside. That's respect. That's leadership. That's maturity. And if you want to be someone people listen to, someone people trust, someone people look at and say, I don't know what it is, but this person has something, emotional control must become part of your identity, and silence is the first step toward that. But let's go deeper, because respect isn't only about how you stand, how you move, how you speak, or how you stay quiet. Those are the external behaviors. They help. They matter. They change how others see you. But the deepest form of respect, the one that lasts, the one people can't ignore, comes from how you treat yourself internally. If you don't respect yourself, your body language, your voice, your eye contact, your silence, none of it will look real. People can feel when something is fake. Humans are extremely good at reading microsignals. Even if they don't notice consciously, their brain knows.
So now let's talk about the inside part of respect, the part most people ignore. Self-respect isn't about loving yourself unconditionally or telling yourself you're amazing. That's nice, but that's not respect. Self-respect is about boundaries. It's about standards. It's about discipline. It's about the promises you keep to yourself. If you say you're going to do something and then you actually do it, your brain starts trusting you. And when your brain trusts you, your behavior changes. You stand taller because you know you are reliable. You move slower because you know you're not running away from yourself. You make eye contact because you're not ashamed of who you are. You listen because you don't need to dominate the conversation to feel important. You stay silent because you're not afraid of your own thoughts. Everything begins inside. Let's talk about boundaries for a moment. Most people think boundaries mean telling people no, or cutting toxic people out, or demanding better treatment. Yes, those are part of it, but the real boundaries are internal. Things like, I don't talk badly about myself. I don't chase people who don't care. I don't explain myself when I know my intentions. I don't give my time to things that drain me. I don't break promises to myself. When you live by these rules, something beautiful happens. You start sending a signal to the world. I value myself. And when you value yourself, people automatically value you more. It's not magic. It's psychology. Humans take cues from the person in front of them. If you treat yourself like you matter, others follow. If you treat yourself like you're invisible, others follow too.
Now, let's go even deeper into the psychology behind respect. People respect clarity. They respect certainty. They respect someone who knows what they want and what they don't want. You don't have to be loud about it. You don't have to announce it. You just live it quietly, and it shows. Think of the people who lack respect in their lives. They usually do one of these things. They apologize too much. They doubt themselves out loud. They speak quickly because they fear being interrupted. They over-explain. They laugh when something isn't funny. They force themselves to be liked. They let others take their time, their energy, their mental space. All these behaviors send one message: I don't think I'm important. And people treat you exactly the way you treat yourself. But the moment you stop doing these things, not with anger, not with ego, but with calm self-respect, the energy shifts instantly. You stop apologizing for existing. You stop rushing your sentences. You stop giving long explanations. You stop laughing to fill silence. You stop saying yes when you want to say no. You stop tolerating disrespect. And suddenly people say, "You've changed. You look more confident. Something feels different about you." But really, nothing changed. You simply stopped giving away your power.
Now let's talk about one of the strongest markers of respect: neutrality. Not coldness, not distance, neutrality. It's the ability to stay emotionally stable when someone else is emotional. When someone gets angry, you stay calm. When someone is passive-aggressive, you stay polite. When someone tries to pull you into drama, you stay neutral. Neutrality makes you look powerful because it shows you are in control of your reactions. And the person who controls their reactions controls the situation. Most people don't understand this. They think reacting fast makes them strong. But reacting fast means you're not choosing your response. You're letting the situation control you. True strength is slow. True strength is intentional. True strength is choosing how you want to show up instead of letting others decide it for you. Another big part of respect is consistency. If people never know which version of you they'll get, calm or emotional, kind or rude, focused or chaotic, they can't respect you fully. Consistency is safety, and people respect those who feel safe to be around. This doesn't mean you have to be perfect. It just means your emotional energy is stable. You're not a storm, you're a solid ground. People trust solid ground. Now I want to give you something extremely practical, a set of micro actions you can start today, tiny behaviors that send strong psychological signals of respect. They seem small, but they change the way people see you instantly. When someone speaks, turn your shoulders slightly toward them.
When you shake hands, keep your hand warm and steady. When you walk in a room, pause for 1 second before moving. When someone asks you something, breathe once before answering. When you sit, plant your feet on the ground. Don't dangle or fidget. When you speak, end your sentences firmly. Don't fade out. When someone interrupts you, stop speaking. Let them hear the silence. Then continue. When you say no, say it calmly and without high pitch. When you don't know something, say, "Let me think," instead of panicking. These are micro signals. The brain reads them instantly, and they all say the same thing: this person respects themselves. And now let's talk about the deeper transformation that comes with practicing all these methods. The first stage is awareness. You start noticing your old habits. You catch yourself rushing. You catch yourself avoiding eye contact. You catch yourself filling silence. You catch yourself over-explaining. This is progress. Awareness always comes before change. Then comes the second stage, discomfort. You start practicing new behaviors. You stand taller, even when it feels strange. You speak slower, even when your brain wants to hurry. You hold eye contact, even when it feels intense. You listen more, even when you want to talk. You stay silent, even when your ego wants to jump in. It feels unfamiliar, but unfamiliar is the beginning of transformation. And then comes stage 3, embodiment. The new behaviors become natural. You no longer try to stand tall, you just do. You no longer try to speak calmly. Your voice changes naturally. You no longer try to listen. You actually become more present. You no longer try to use silence. You feel comfortable in it. That's the moment people start treating you differently. Not because you're pretending, not because you're acting, but because you've grown.
Growth is visible, and growth is respected. And let me give you something deeper, something that took me years to understand. Respect is not a performance. It's a lifestyle. It's a way of walking, a way of thinking, a way of reacting, a way of speaking, a way of holding yourself. You don't need to be perfect. You don't need to impress anyone. You don't need to prove anything. You simply need to live with intention. The world respects people who live with intention. And now, here's your final step. Integrate everything. All 5 methods, all the internal work, all the micro actions. Not perfectly, not all at once, but slowly, consistently. Choose one thing today. 1. Practice it for 7 days. Then add another, then another. And your life will begin to shift in ways you didn't expect. People will take you more seriously. People will speak to you differently. People will listen more carefully. People will treat you with more kindness. People will value your presence more. People will respect your silence. People will respect your boundaries. People will respect you.
But the most important thing, you will respect yourself. And once that happens, everything else follows. If you want to continue learning English through powerful stories like this, stories that improve your thinking, your confidence, and your life, then make sure you're with us on Catch That English. This channel helps you become more fluent, more mindful, more confident, and more powerful in the real world. So if this episode helped you, like, subscribe, join the community, and let's grow together. Because your English gets better when your mindset gets better. And when your mindset gets better, your whole life gets better. Thanks for listening, my friend. Keep learning, keep growing, and I'll see you in the next story.
Today, I want to share something that completely changed my life, and I believe it can also change yours. This is not a simple business idea or another story about success. Today, I want to talk about something much more practical, a morning routine that can help you improve your English faster, remember more, and feel more confident. And even more than that, how your mornings can influence your future. When I was young, I didn't have money, resources, or even internet access. But I had one thing: time. And the best time of the day, The moment when your mind is fresh and full of new energy is the morning. The morning is quiet. Nobody disturbs you. It's the perfect moment to focus on yourself. And I used my mornings to build the one skill that changed my life forever: English. Every day I woke up early while most people were still asleep. I took my old bicycle and rode almost 40 minutes across Denver just to visit a hotel where many foreign visitors stayed. My goal was simple: try to speak English with someone, even for a minute. That was my morning routine. It wasn't easy. Hello, everyone, and welcome to Catch That English. I'm really glad you're here, especially if it's your first time on this channel. Here, we learn English through stories, real conversations, and ideas that help you improve your language and your life at the same time. If you want to keep growing your English through simple, real, and powerful lessons, make sure to subscribe to this channel.
Sometimes the weather was cold or rainy. Sometimes I was tired and wanted to stay in bed. But I kept telling myself, if I don't use my mornings wisely, I will never improve. If I waste the first hours of the day, the rest of the day will follow the same way. So I pushed myself to get up, go outside, and practice. Step by step, day by day, I got better. The power of a morning routine is not only in the activity. It's in the discipline you build. Young people often ask me, "Ethan, how can I become successful?" And I always say, start by winning your morning. If you can control the first hour of your day, you can control much more in your life. Because the way you begin your morning sets the mood for everything else. If you wake up without energy, you bring that feeling into your school, your work, and your dreams. But if you wake up with purpose, focus, and discipline, it becomes part of everything you do. So what can a morning routine for improving your English look like? Let me share a few simple steps. First, don't start your day with your phone. Don't open social media. Instead, give your mind English input right away. Listen to something simple, a podcast, an audiobook, or a short motivational speech. Your mind absorbs more in the morning, like a sponge. If you hear English first thing in the morning, you remember it better. Second, speak out loud. Don't only listen, use your mouth. Repeat words, repeat sentences, or talk to yourself. I used to practice in front of a mirror, and yes, it felt strange, but it helped a lot. Speaking out loud builds confidence. Many people can read or write English, but they freeze when they need to speak because they never practice saying words with their voice. The morning is a perfect time for this because no one is watching, judging, or interrupting you. Third, write a few sentences every morning. Writing helps you think clearly. Write about your day, your plans, or your feelings in English. Don't worry about mistakes. Just write. Later, you can fix it. The important part is training your brain to think in English. Fourth, take 10 to 15 minutes to review what you learned the day before. Learning is not only about new information, it is also about repeating old knowledge so your brain remembers it better. Now, some people say, "Ethan, I don't have time in the morning. I have to go to school or work." My answer is simple. You always have time. Wake up 30 minutes earlier. Wake up 1 hour earlier. If something is important to you, you make time for it. I wasn't the best student. I failed many exams.
But I woke up early and practiced when others were sleeping. That was my advantage. Small habits create big futures. 1 hour of English every morning may not look like much, but after months and years, it creates huge results. People may call you talented, but you will know the truth. It was not talent. It was routine. It was discipline. It was the morning. Imagine this. While others are still dreaming, you are awake, learning and building your future. While others waste time on their phone, you are growing. While others say, "I don't have time," you are creating it. This difference becomes success. It's how ordinary people become extraordinary. If I had not created my morning routine when I was young, today my life would be completely different. I would not be able to lead Horizon Tech. I wouldn't have the courage to speak with investors, partners, or teams around the world. English gave me confidence. Confidence gave me courage. And courage created opportunities. And everything started with simple morning practice in Denver, standing outside a hotel, waiting to talk to someone in English. Success is not about talent or luck. It's about daily choices.
Your morning routine shows your priorities and builds the person you want to become. When you use the first hours of the day to learn, practice, and explore, you are building something strong inside yourself. English is a tool, but it is also a doorway, opening new opportunities and helping you connect with the world. And the best time to train this skill is the morning, when everything is calm and your mind is ready. So wake up early, listen, speak, write, and review. Even small actions matter if you repeat them every day. Small steps create big changes. A strong morning can change your future. If you enjoyed this story and want to keep growing your English through simple, real, and powerful lessons, make sure to subscribe to Catch That English Talk. Here, we learn English through stories, real conversations, and ideas that help you improve your language and your life at the same time. Stay curious, keep practicing, and keep becoming the best version of yourself. See you in the next story, and don't forget to subscribe.
Today, I want to share something that completely changed my life, and I believe it can also change yours. This is not a simple business idea or another story about success. Today, I want to talk about something much more practical, a morning routine that can help you improve your English faster, remember more, and feel more confident. And even more than that, how your mornings can influence your future. When I was young, I didn't have money, resources, or even internet access. But I had one thing: time. And the best time of the day, the moment when your mind is fresh and full of new energy, is the morning. The morning is quiet. Nobody disturbs you. It's the perfect moment to focus on yourself. And I used my mornings to build the one skill that changed my life forever: English. Every day I woke up early while most people were still asleep. I took my old bicycle and rode almost 40 minutes across Denver just to visit a hotel where many foreign visitors stayed. My goal was simple: try to speak English with someone, even for a minute. That was my morning routine. It wasn't easy. Hello, everyone, and welcome to Catch That English. I'm really glad you're here, especially if it's your first time on this channel. Here, we learn English through stories, real conversations, and ideas that help you improve your language and your life at the same time. If you want to keep growing your English through simple, real, and powerful lessons, make sure to subscribe to this channel.
Sometimes the weather was cold or rainy. Sometimes I was tired and wanted to stay in bed. But I kept telling myself, if I don't use my mornings wisely, I will never improve. If I waste the first hours of the day, the rest of the day will follow the same way. So I pushed myself to get up, go outside, and practice. Step by step, day by day, I got better. The power of a morning routine is not only in the activity, it's in the discipline you build. Young people often ask me, Ethan, how can I become successful? And I always say, start by winning your morning. If you can control the first hour of your day, you can control much more in your life. Because the way you begin your morning sets the mood for everything else. If you wake up without energy, you bring that feeling into your school, your work, and your dreams. But if you wake up with purpose, focus, and discipline, it becomes part of everything you do. So what can a morning routine for improving your English look like? Let me share a few simple steps. First, don't start your day with your phone. Don't open social media. Instead, give your mind English input right away. Listen to something simple, a podcast, an audiobook, or a short motivational speech. Your mind absorbs more in the morning, like a sponge. If you hear English first thing in the morning, you remember it better. Second, speak out loud. Don't only listen, use your mouth. Repeat words, repeat sentences, or talk to yourself. I used to practice in front of a mirror, and yes, it felt strange, but it helped a lot. Speaking out loud builds confidence. Many people can read or write English, but they freeze when they need to speak because they never practice saying words with their voice. The morning is a perfect time for this because no one is watching, judging, or interrupting you. Third, write a few sentences every morning. Writing helps you think clearly. Write about your day, your plans, or your feelings in English. Don't worry about mistakes. Just write. Later, you can fix it. The important part is training your brain to think in English. Fourth, take 10 to 15 minutes to review what you learned the day before. Learning is not only about new information, it is also about repeating old knowledge so your brain remembers it better. Now, some people say, Ethan, I don't have time in the morning. I have to go to school or work. My answer is simple. You always have time. Wake up 30 minutes earlier. Wake up 1 hour earlier. If something is important to you, you make time for it. I wasn't the best student. I failed many exams.
But I woke up early and practiced when others were sleeping. That was my advantage. Small habits create big futures. 1 hour of English every morning may not look like much, but after months and years, it creates huge results. People may call you talented, but you will know the truth. It was not talent. It was routine. It was discipline. It was the morning. Imagine this. While others are still dreaming, you are awake, learning and building your future. While others waste time on their phone, you are growing. While others say, I don't have time, you are creating it. This difference becomes success. It's how ordinary people become extraordinary. If I had not created my morning routine when I was young, today my life would be completely different. I would not be able to lead Horizon Tech. I wouldn't have the courage to speak with investors, partners, or teams around the world. English gave me confidence. Confidence gave me courage. And courage created opportunities. And everything started with simple morning practice in Denver, standing outside a hotel, waiting to talk to someone in English. Success is not about talent or luck. It's about daily choices.
Your morning routine shows your priorities and builds the person you want to become. When you use the first hours of the day to learn, practice, and explore, you are building something strong inside yourself. English is a tool, but it is also a doorway, opening new opportunities and helping you connect with the world. And the best time to train this skill is the morning, when everything is calm and your mind is ready. So wake up early, listen, speak, write, and review. Even small actions matter if you repeat them every day. Small steps create big changes. A strong morning can change your future. If you enjoyed this story and want to keep growing your English through simple, real, and powerful lessons, make sure to subscribe to Catch That English Talk. Here, we learn English through stories, real conversations, and ideas that help you improve your language and your life at the same time. Stay curious, keep practicing, and keep becoming the best version of yourself. See you in the next story, and don't forget to subscribe.
Hey, my friend. Welcome back to Catch That English. I'm really happy to have you here today. In this episode, we're going to talk about something that can completely change how you see yourself, how you make decisions, and how people treat you. It's the power of knowing your worth. But before we start, I want you to remember, by listening to this story, you're not only improving your English, you're also training your thinking. You're learning the kind of mindset that brings confidence, clarity, and success. So sit back, relax, and let's dive in. Have you ever noticed how some people walk into a room and immediately grab attention? They're not louder, richer, or better looking, but there's something about them. They move with quiet confidence. They speak slowly, clearly, and every word seems to matter. You can feel they know who they are. That's the power of self-worth. But here's the truth. Most people don't know their worth. They think they do, but they actually base it on external things. How much money they make, how many followers they have, what others think of them. And that's why they constantly feel anxious, small, and uncertain. Because when your worth depends on outside things, you can lose it at any moment. Let's think about this for a second. Imagine a person who's really good at their job. They work hard, they're talented, and yet they accept low pay, constant stress, and little respect. Why? Because deep down, they believe they're not good enough. They don't want to lose the little they have, so they stay silent, they overwork, and they keep proving themselves again and again. That's not humility. That's a lack of self-worth disguised as being nice. Now, contrast that with someone who knows their value. They don't need to shout or demand attention. They simply know what they bring to the table. And because of that, they can say no without fear. They can walk away from situations that don't feel right. And somehow, the world starts to respect them more. It's fascinating, right? When you raise your own standards, life begins to adjust to match them. People who used to ignore you start to listen. Opportunities that felt impossible begin to open. Why? Because when you treat yourself like someone of value, others start to see you that way too. But here's the tricky part. How do you know your worth? Where do you find it? It's not written in a book, and no one can give it to you. It's something you discover through experience, reflection, and courage. Think about it like this. Every time you say yes, when you actually want to say no, you give away a piece of your worth. Every time you hide your ideas because you're afraid of being judged, you lower your own value. And every time you stay in a place that drains your energy just to feel safe, you send a message to your brain, I'm not important. So the first step to knowing your worth is awareness. Start noticing when you compromise your peace just to please someone. Start noticing when you accept less than you deserve. These moments are not small. They define how you see yourself. Let me tell you a short story. There was a young woman named Emma. She was a designer, talented, creative, and passionate. She worked for a company that paid her very little, but gave her exposure. Everyone said, be patient, it will pay off. For years, she worked late nights, took every project, and smiled through exhaustion. One day, her boss criticized her for a small mistake. She apologized again and again, even though it wasn't her fault. That night, she went home and looked in the mirror. Her eyes looked tired, her shoulders heavy, and she realized she was treating herself like someone who didn't matter. So, the next day, she made a decision. She walked into her boss's office and said calmly, I think it's time for me to move on. Her hands were shaking, but her voice was steady. Her boss was shocked. Why? You're doing great here. Emma smiled and said, I know, but I'm done working for less than I'm worth. She left, terrified but free. 2 months later, she got a job at a smaller studio that respected her talent. She earned more money, worked fewer hours, and most importantly, she felt proud again. That's what happens when you act from self-worth. The world adjusts to match your belief. And you know what? This principle applies everywhere, in work, relationships, learning, even in how you speak English. When you know your worth, you don't say, oh, my English is bad. You say, I'm improving every day. You don't compare yourself to others. You focus on your own growth. And suddenly, learning becomes lighter, easier, more joyful, because you're not chasing perfection, you're building confidence. Confidence is not loud. It's quiet. It's that calm voice inside that says, I know who I am. But here's a truth people don't like to hear. The world often treats you based on what you tolerate. If you accept disrespect, you'll get more of it. If you accept underpayment, people will continue offering less. It's not cruelty. It's psychology. People follow your example of how they can treat you. So if you want the world to value you more, you must value yourself first. Now, this doesn't mean arrogance. Knowing your worth is not about thinking you're better than others. It's about understanding that you have something unique to offer. It's about walking into a room and thinking, I belong here, instead of, I hope they like me.
When you operate from self-worth, you stop chasing validation. You no longer need everyone's approval because you trust your own. You become selective with your time, your energy, and your words. That's power. Not the kind that controls others, but the kind that makes you unshakable. Sometimes knowing your worth means losing people. But the truth is, you never lose anyone who truly values you. You only lose those who benefited from you not knowing your worth. Think about it. When you start setting boundaries, some people get upset. When you stop saying yes to everything, some will call you selfish. But that's okay, because real relationships don't disappear when you grow. They adapt. The ones who stay are the ones who see your growth and cheer for you. Let's go deeper. Your worth doesn't increase when someone compliments you, and it doesn't decrease when someone criticizes you. It stays the same because it's not based on opinion. It's based on truth. You are valuable simply because you exist. But to live from that truth, you must remind yourself daily. You must choose it again and again, especially when the world makes you doubt it. That's what makes it powerful. It's a choice. When you know your worth, you start making better choices. You choose people who bring peace, not chaos. You choose projects that challenge you, not drain you. You choose growth over comfort. And these choices build a life that reflects your value.
Here's something interesting. Your energy changes when you know your worth. You walk differently, talk differently, and people can feel it. It's not what you say, it's the energy behind your words. You could say no softly, but people still take it seriously because your energy says, I mean it. And maybe that's the most beautiful part. When you know your worth, you stop needing to prove it. You don't explain your dreams to small minds. You don't chase attention. You simply do your thing, quietly, consistently, confidently. If you've ever doubted yourself, remember this. You are not behind. You are not late. You're exactly where you need to be to learn what you need to learn. The version of you who's learning English right now, who's growing, improving, and pushing through fear, that version deserves respect. So take a breath. You don't have to have everything figured out. You just have to stop doubting your own value. Because the moment you do, everything starts to shift. You know, one of the biggest challenges in life is learning to say no and meaning it. When you don't know your worth, no feels dangerous. You worry people will get upset or you'll lose an opportunity. But when you truly understand your value, no becomes your protection. It's the door that keeps your peace safe. Every strong person you admire, they all learned the art of saying no. Imagine this. You're offered a job that pays well, but it doesn't feel right. The boss seems disrespectful, the team energy feels off. But your mind says, what if I don't get another offer? That's fear talking, and fear loves to whisper when you forget your worth. But when you remember who you are, you start thinking differently. You ask yourself, do I really want to trade my peace for this paycheck? You stop chasing opportunities that don't align with your values. And that's when the right ones appear, because you made space for them. Self-worth is not just about confidence, it's about alignment. It's when your actions, your words, and your energy all move in the same direction. You don't promise things you don't mean. You don't force yourself to fit where you don't belong. And most importantly, you don't betray yourself to be liked. But of course, that's easier said than done. The truth is, knowing your worth can be lonely at first. You'll feel uncomfortable. You'll question your choices. People around you might not understand, but this discomfort is a sign that you're growing. It's like muscles after a workout. They hurt because they're getting stronger. Let's talk about this idea. The world reflects what you believe about yourself. If deep down you believe you're not smart enough, not ready enough, not talented enough, the world will show you proof of that belief. You'll notice rejection, failure, and comparison everywhere. But when you shift your inner story and start saying, I am learning, I am growing, I have something to offer, the world starts responding differently. You attract better experiences because you expect better things. There's a beautiful saying, when you know your worth, you stop giving discounts. That means you no longer lower your standards to keep someone close. You don't shrink to make others comfortable. You don't pretend to be less than you are just to fit in. Because you finally understand that your presence is already valuable. Let me share another story. There was a man named Daniel. He worked as a photographer, and his pictures were amazing. But he never charged much. He thought, people won't pay that much for my work. One day, a client hired him for a big project, but kept asking for changes again and again. Daniel worked day and night, trying to please them. When the project ended, the client said, "Thanks, but we won't need you again." Daniel felt crushed. That night, he sat in front of his computer looking at his photos. They were beautiful, full of emotion, light, and meaning. He thought, why do I let people treat my work like it's nothing? That was his turning point. The next time someone asked for his price, he doubled it. He was nervous, but he said it calmly. The client said, "Okay." And suddenly, Daniel realized it was never about the price. It was about how he saw himself. People didn't respect him because he didn't respect his own work. From that day, his business grew, not just because he was talented, but because he finally acted like someone who believed in his own value. That's the power of self-worth. It changes your world from the inside out. And it doesn't stop at work. It touches everything: friendships, relationships, even how you take care of yourself. When you know your worth, you stop accepting one-sided relationships. You stop running after people who only remember you when they need something. You stop settling for almost love, almost respect, almost happiness. You start understanding that real love, real respect, and real joy only grow in truth, and truth begins with self-respect. So ask yourself right now, where in your life are you acting like you're less than you are? Maybe it's a job that drains you. Maybe it's a friendship that always takes but never gives. Maybe it's your own self-talk, that little voice that keeps saying, "You're not ready." Whatever it is, look at it with honesty, because awareness is where change begins. Now imagine if you treated yourself like someone important. Imagine waking up and saying, "I deserve to feel good today." You'd eat differently, speak differently, move differently. You'd stop apologizing for existing. You'd start showing up fully, not as a smaller version of yourself, but as the real one. That's when things start to flow. People feel your energy and respond to it. You attract conversations that inspire you, work that fulfills you, and relationships that grow with you. But remember, knowing your worth doesn't mean you'll never feel insecure again. Everyone has moments of doubt. Even the most confident people question themselves sometimes. The difference is they don't stay there. They remind themselves of who they are and what they've already overcome. They use their doubts as reminders to grow, not as reasons to stop. Here's a truth I want you to remember. Self-worth is built through action. You can't just say, "I believe in myself," and expect magic. You build it every time you keep a promise to yourself. Every time you do something that scares you but matters. Every time you choose honesty over comfort. That's how you train your brain to trust you. Because trust is the foundation of worth. So the next time you feel small, I want you to pause and ask, what would someone who knows their worth do right now? Maybe they'd speak up. Maybe they'd rest. Maybe they'd stop chasing and start creating. Whatever the answer, follow it. That's your inner compass guiding you back to yourself. Let's go even deeper. You can't build self-worth by trying to please everyone. The more you depend on approval, the weaker your inner foundation becomes. The stronger your self-worth, the less you need constant validation. You start leading instead of following. You start expressing instead of impressing. And that's when your authenticity begins to shine. There's something magnetic about a person who's calm and sure of themselves. They don't need to prove anything. They just are. People trust them, listen to them, and want to be around them. Not because they're perfect, but because they're real. And you can be that person. You already have everything you need. You just have to stop doubting it. When you know your worth, life stops feeling like a competition. You stop comparing your path to others because you finally understand no one can take what's meant for you. You're not late. You're not behind. You're just growing at your own pace.
And growth takes time. It's okay to be a work in progress. In fact, that's what makes you human. But even while you're growing, you can still respect yourself. You can still treat yourself with kindness, even when you make mistakes. Because here's the secret. Your worth doesn't depend on your performance. You don't have to earn it. You were born with it. It's part of you. So when life feels heavy, remind yourself, I'm not defined by what I do. I'm defined by who I am. The more you live from that truth, the freer you become. And here's the thing, people can sense it. When you know your worth, you no longer need to chase attention. Opportunities start coming to you. You start noticing possibilities where before you saw limits. You start speaking up, asking for more, and believing that you deserve it, not because you're special, but because you're human. If you're learning English right now, this message is especially for you. Don't say, I'm bad at English. That's not true. Say, I'm learning. Because every minute you listen, every time you practice, you're growing. You're becoming someone who can express more, connect deeper, and think bigger. That's self-worth in action. The belief that your effort has value. So keep listening. Keep learning. But don't do it from fear. Do it from self-respect. Don't learn English because you think you're not good enough. Learn because you know you're capable of more. Every time you listen to something like this, you're not just learning new words. You're building a stronger mindset, one that says, I can handle this. I can grow. I can rise. And that's exactly what people with high self-worth do. They rise. So if you ever feel stuck, lost, or unsure, remember this. You don't need to prove anything to be enough. You already are. The only thing left is to act like it. Stand tall. Speak clearly. Take up space. Don't hide your ideas. Don't wait for permission. You don't need to be louder. You just need to be real. And the more real you are, the more you'll attract the kind of life that fits you perfectly. Knowing your worth is not a one-time thing. It's a practice. Daily, quiet, and powerful. Every morning you wake up, you get to decide how you'll treat yourself today. With respect or with doubt. With love or with fear. And that decision will shape everything that follows. So, today, choose worth. Choose to believe that your dreams matter, your voice matters, your time matters. And the world will respond, because here's the truth. Life doesn't give you what you want. It gives you what you believe you deserve. So, believe you deserve more. Not from arrogance, but from awareness. Because you've already worked, grown, and survived too much to keep settling. You're here right now, listening, learning, improving. That's proof of your value. Don't forget it. And if this message resonated with you, keep practicing, keep listening, and keep growing with Catch That English. Because every time you train your ears, you're also training your mindset. And that's where real change begins. You're learning English, but you're also learning yourself. And that's the most powerful lesson of all. So go out there, speak with confidence, walk with purpose, and live from your worth. The world needs people who know who they are, people like you.